The concept of scarcity versus abundance is a fundamental shift that can completely transform your financial reality. It's not just about the money in your bank account. It's about how you view opportunities, how you perceive yourself, and how you respond to challenges. Most people operate from a scarcity mindset without even realizing it. They believe there's not enough to go around, whether it's money, time, or resources. This belief keeps them stuck in a cycle of fear, hesitation, and limited action. They hold on to what they have, protect their comfort zone, and avoid taking risks. The irony is that in doing so, they actually block the flow of abundance into their lives. An abundance mindset, on the other hand, is about seeing the world as full of endless opportunities. It's the belief that there is more than enough to go around and that success is not a zero-sum game. It's about understanding that wealth, happiness, and success are not limited to a select few, but available to anyone willing to tap into their potential and take bold action. When you shift into this mindset, everything changes. In a scarcity mindset, you'll find yourself constantly looking at what you don't have, whether it's money, resources, time, or connections. You may feel frustrated, resentful, or even envious of others who seem to have more. You may find yourself stuck in the cycle of, I can't afford this, or that's not possible for me. But when you make the decision to shift into an abundance mindset, you start to look at things differently. You stop focusing on what's missing and start focusing on what you can create, who you can become, and how you can give. Abundance is about focusing on the potential rather than the limitations. It's about recognizing that there is always more than one way to achieve your goals and that every challenge or setback is simply an opportunity to learn, grow, and find a better path forward. When you operate from a place of abundance, you are constantly looking for ways to expand, to create more value, to collaborate with others, and to see the possibilities where others see only obstacles. One of the most powerful aspects of the abundance mindset is that it frees you from the chains of fear. In scarcity thinking, fear is a driving force. Fear of losing what you have, fear of taking risks, fear of not having enough. But when you embrace abundance, fear loses its grip. You understand that there is always a solution to every problem, and that no matter what happens, you are capable of finding your way to success. Instead of being paralyzed by fear, you begin to take inspired action. You trust in the process, knowing that you are on a path of growth and evolution. This shift in thinking is particularly important when it comes to money. People who have a scarcity mindset tend to be afraid of spending money or investing in themselves because they fear that it will run out. They see money as something finite. On the other hand, those with an abundance mindset understand that money is a tool, a resource that flows in and out of their lives. They know that by investing in themselves, whether it's in their education, health, or business, they are opening the door for even more to come back to them. They view money as an energy exchange, something that is constantly circulating and growing as long as they continue to give and contribute to the world around them. Another key component of the abundance mindset is the belief in self-worth. Scarcity thinking often leads people to feel unworthy of success or wealth. They tell themselves that they don't deserve it, or that it's for others, not them. But with an abundance mindset, you recognize your own value. You know that you are deserving of success and that you have unique gifts to offer the world. When you embrace this belief, you stop playing small and you start taking bold actions that align with your true potential. As you begin to make this shift in your thinking, you'll start to notice changes in how you show up in the world. You'll start to take more risks, make bolder moves, and embrace opportunities you once would have been too afraid to pursue. And when you face obstacles, instead of seeing them as insurmountable challenges, you'll see them as temporary setbacks, bumps in the road that are meant to teach you, guide you, and push you towards something greater. The beauty of the abundance mindset is that it's not just about financial success, it's about creating abundance in every area of your life. When you embrace this mindset, you start to attract more of what you want, more love, more opportunities, more growth, and more fulfillment. You begin to see that abundance isn't just about accumulating wealth, It's about creating a life that is rich in experiences, connections, and personal satisfaction. It's about knowing that there's always more to come, and that as long as you continue to grow, contribute, and believe in the abundance of the world, you'll always find ways to expand and elevate your life. Reassuring your inner beliefs about money is one of the most important steps in transforming your financial reality. Everything begins with your thoughts. What you believe about money will directly impact how you earn, save, invest, and spend it. The mind is incredibly powerful, and if you want to change your financial situation, you must first identify and alter the limiting beliefs that are holding you back. These beliefs are often deeply ingrained, and many of them were formed at a young age. But with awareness and the right strategies, you can shift them to align with your desired outcome. For many, the relationship with money is complicated, often stemming from childhood experiences. Maybe you grew up hearing things like, money doesn't grow on trees, or rich people are greedy. These phrases, while often meant to teach frugality or modesty, can also instill a belief that wealth is difficult to attain or that it's inherently bad to desire. As a result, many people struggle with guilt or discomfort around wealth, and this internal conflict can prevent them from achieving financial success. If you've internalized these beliefs, it's time to challenge them. Wealth is not bad, and in fact, the more abundance you create, the more good you can do for yourself and for others. One of the most common limiting beliefs people have is that they are not deserving of money or success. This belief is often tied to feelings of low self-worth or imposter syndrome. If you don't believe you're worthy of wealth, you will unconsciously sabotage your opportunities to create it. You might procrastinate, avoid taking risks, or even push away people who could help you advance financially. On the flip side, if you start to change your beliefs about money, you will notice that you start to take more confident actions. You'll start to believe that success is not only possible, but that it is your birthright. You'll start to make decisions from a place of empowerment, not fear. The next step in mastering your beliefs about money is to examine the messages you receive throughout your life about the nature of wealth. Ask yourself, what was the tone in your household when it came to money? Was it talked about openly, or was it a taboo subject? Did your parents or caregivers express negative or positive views about the wealthy, or did they share their strategies for handling money? These early messages form the foundation of how you view money as an adult. If you grew up with a scarcity mindset, you might find yourself perpetuating that same belief system in your own life. Money is often tied to emotional triggers. People may feel anxiety or stress when it comes to managing money, which further deepens their negative beliefs. However, when you begin to consciously work on changing your thoughts about money, you open the door for new, healthier emotional connections. You can replace the anxiety with calm, replace fear with confidence, and replace worry with clarity. The goal is to develop a healthy relationship with money. One that allows you to feel safe, empowered, and in control of your financial destiny. A major part of transforming your beliefs about money is to move from a mindset of lack to one of abundance. People who believe there is never enough money often engage in behaviors like hoarding, overworking, or avoiding financial opportunities altogether. These actions are driven by fear, and fear keeps you stuck. On the other hand, people who believe there is an abundance of wealth in the world are more willing to invest in their personal growth, take calculated risks, and surround themselves with others who can help them grow. They view money as a tool to achieve greater goals, not as a source of stress or insecurity. Shifting your perspective from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset is essential to achieving financial freedom. Another critical aspect of mastering your inner beliefs is learning to manage your self-talk. Your internal dialogue often reflects your beliefs about money. If you're constantly telling yourself things like, I'll never be rich, or I'm bad with money, then these beliefs will be reinforced. However, if you replace those thoughts with empowering statements like, I am worthy of financial success, or money is a tool I can use to create a better life, you will start to see real changes. The more you repeat these positive affirmations, the more your subconscious will begin to believe them. This shift in mindset will naturally lead you to take the necessary actions to align your reality with your new belief. Creating new beliefs about money requires consistent effort and patience. It's important to be aware of how you feel when you think about money and how you behave when you're faced with financial decisions. Do you feel fear, shame, or guilt? Or do you feel excited, confident, and hopeful? The goal is to build a new positive association with money. When you change the way you feel about money, you will change the way you behave around it. And when you change your behavior, you begin to attract more of the wealth and abundance you desire. As you begin to break free from these limiting beliefs, you will also develop the ability to manage money more effectively. You will recognize that wealth is not just about earning more, but also about being wise in how you manage what you have. Building your financial future starts with your internal beliefs and extends outward to your actions. Every step you take to reprogram your mindset brings you closer to becoming the person you need to be in order to attract and maintain financial success. Embracing fear as fuel for growth is one of the most powerful strategies you can adopt to change your financial future. Fear is an inevitable part of life, but it doesn't have to control you. In fact, the most successful people in the world are often the ones who learn to harness fear, not avoid it. Fear can either paralyze you or propel you forward. It all depends on how you choose to respond to it. When it comes to money and success, fear often shows up as the fear of failure, fear of taking risks, or fear of not being good enough. But the truth is, fear is simply a sign that you're on the edge of growth. If you can learn to use it to your advantage, you can turn fear into your most powerful ally. One of the reasons people shy away from opportunities or avoid taking risks is that they are afraid of failure. The fear of failure can be so overwhelming that it prevents them from even trying. But failure is not something to be feared, it's something to be embraced. Every failure is a lesson in disguise, a necessary step on the path to success. If you're not failing, you're not growing. The most successful people in history, whether in business, sports, or any other field, didn't get there by avoiding failure. They got there by failing repeatedly, learning from those failures and using those lessons to improve. When you embrace fear, you stop seeing failure as the end of the road and start seeing it as an opportunity for growth. The more willing you are to fail, the more you open yourself up to the possibility of success. Fear also shows up when we're presented with the unknown. Venturing into new opportunities, starting a business, or making an investment often comes with uncertainty. It's natural to feel fear when you don't know what's going to happen. But the truth is, uncertainty is part of life. There is no way to eliminate it entirely. The key is not to avoid uncertainty, but to learn how to move forward in the face of it. The most successful people understand that uncertainty is not a reason to back off. It's a reason to take action. They know that by embracing the unknown, they can create new opportunities that would never have been possible if they had stayed in their comfort zones. It's in the unknown where the magic happens. And if you can learn to move forward despite your fear of uncertainty, you'll discover that the potential for growth is limitless. In addition to fear of failure and fear of the unknown, many people experience a fear of not being good enough or not being capable of achieving financial success. This fear stems from self-doubt, and it can be incredibly limiting. When you feel unworthy of success or wealth, you may hesitate to take the necessary actions to reach your goals. You might talk yourself out of opportunities, avoid making big decisions, or even sabotage your own progress. However, the truth is that everyone starts somewhere, and everyone has the ability to grow. No one is born with all the answers. Success comes from consistent action, learning, and refining your skills over time. Instead of letting fear of not being good enough hold you back, use it as motivation to learn more, to grow, and to take action despite your doubts. The more you push through the fear of inadequacy, the more confident you'll become in your abilities. It's also important to recognize that fear is often tied to a deep desire for something better. Whether it's financial freedom, a better quality of life, or the ability to provide for your loved ones, Fear is usually a sign that you care deeply about the outcome. You wouldn't feel fear if you didn't care. The key is to channel that energy into something positive. Instead of letting fear stop you from taking action, let it drive you to take bold steps. Fear doesn't have to be a barrier. It can be the fuel that propels you to new heights. The key is to stop seeing fear as something negative and start seeing it as a signal that you are on the right path, one that requires courage, persistence, and action. When you change the way you view fear, you begin to see it as an opportunity for growth rather than something to avoid. Every time you feel fear, it means that you're stepping into a new level of personal and financial growth. When you take that fear and turn it into positive action, you become stronger, more resilient, and more capable of handling the challenges that come your way. Fear can be a powerful motivator. It can push you to be better, to work harder, and to keep going, even when things get tough. The key is not to let fear control you, but to control your response to fear. Learning to embrace fear and use it as fuel for growth is an essential part of achieving financial success. As you face challenges, step outside of your comfort zone and make bold decisions, you will inevitably feel fear. But instead of shrinking back, choose to embrace that fear. Let it inspire you to take action. Fear doesn't have to be a barrier. It can be the key to unlocking your potential. By reframing fear as a tool for growth, you can create a mindset that propels you towards success and enables you to achieve your financial goals. Taking radical action, not just planning, is the differentiator between those who achieve their goals and those who remain stuck in the cycle of wishing and waiting. Many people fall into the trap of thinking that simply planning is enough. That if they create a perfect blueprint, everything will fall into place. While planning is essential, it's the execution of those plans that truly drives success. Without taking massive, consistent action, even the best plans will remain just ideas, locked away in notebooks or on digital files. Radical action is about doing things that are outside of your comfort zone, stepping into the unknown, and relentlessly pursuing your goals with a sense of urgency and determination. One of the most common barriers to taking action is fear of failure. People often get stuck in the planning phase because they're afraid that their plans won't work or that they'll make a mistake along the way. This fear can paralyze them, causing them to procrastinate and overthink. But the reality is that no one gets everything right on their first try. Success isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about being willing to learn from them and adjust course along the way. Taking radical action means stepping into the unknown with confidence, knowing that failure is not an endpoint, but a valuable learning experience. It's in the doing that you'll discover what works, what doesn't, and what needs to be adjusted. Another reason people hesitate to take action is the desire for perfection. Many individuals spend endless hours, days, or even years fine-tuning their plans and strategies, waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect conditions to take action. The truth is, there is no such thing as perfect timing. The perfect moment is the one you create. Waiting for everything to align perfectly can often result in missed opportunities. Radical action is about breaking through that need for perfection and embracing progress over perfection. It's about trusting that you'll figure things out as you go and that the more you take action, the clearer your path will become. It's about taking the first step even when the entire journey is not clear. Taking radical action also requires a level of commitment and discipline that many people are unwilling to embrace. It's easy to start strong and make a few moves toward your goals, but true success comes from sustained effort over time. Radical action means making a commitment to show up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, even when things get tough, and even when you encounter setbacks. It's about building momentum through consistent effort and not allowing yourself to get distracted by temporary obstacles. The key is to keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps may seem. Every single action you take, no matter how minor, adds up over time and brings you closer to your goal. One of the most transformative aspects of taking radical action is that it helps you break through the mental blocks and limiting beliefs that hold you back Often the things that stop us from taking action are the stories we tell ourselves about why we can't succeed. We may tell ourselves that we're not ready, that we don't have enough experience, or that we need more resources before we can begin. But the truth is, you don't need to have everything in place to take action. The best way to learn, grow, and improve is by doing. Radical action allows you to break free from those limiting beliefs and take control of your future. You begin to prove to yourself that you are capable, resourceful, and resilient. Another aspect of radical action is its ability to create momentum. Once you take that first step, it's easier to keep moving. The hardest part is often just getting started. But once you begin to see progress, no matter how small, you start to build momentum. And momentum is a powerful force. It gives you the confidence to keep going, the energy to push through obstacles, and the motivation to take even more action. The more you do, the more opportunities you uncover, the more you learn, and the more you achieve. Radical action doesn't just bring you closer to your goal. It opens up a world of possibilities that would have been impossible if you had remained stuck in the planning phase. Taking radical action also forces you to get uncomfortable. Growth doesn't happen inside your comfort zone. It happens when you push yourself beyond what feels familiar or easy. Radical action requires you to stretch, to take risk, and to embrace uncertainty. It might mean putting yourself out there in ways you've never done before, whether it's making a bold business move, reaching out to potential clients or partners, or investing in something that feels like a leap of faith. But it's in those uncomfortable moments that the magic happens. When you stretch yourself and take action despite the fear or doubt, you create new opportunities and experiences that accelerate your growth. Staying comfortable may feel safe, but it's the radical actions that push you toward the success you desire. Finally, taking radical action is a powerful tool for building resilience. When you face challenges along the way, as you inevitably will, you'll have the strength and determination to keep going because you're actively engaged in your own progress. It's easy to stay motivated when things are going well, but it's when you encounter obstacles that the true test of your commitment and belief in yourself arises. Radical action teaches you how to adapt, how to stay focused on your vision, and how to keep pushing forward no matter what. Each challenge you overcome makes you stronger, more resilient, and more capable of handling whatever comes your way. Radical action is not just about taking big, bold steps. It's about the consistent, everyday actions that move you closer to your goals. It's about making the decision to act in spite of fear, doubt, or uncertainty, and trusting that the act of doing is the catalyst for growth, success, and transformation. When you commit to taking radical action, you move from being a dreamer to a doer. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating your own opportunities. And with every step you take, you get closer to the life and success you've always envisioned.